Celtic's manager hunt is heating up with a shock name emerging from Motherwell. Kasper Schmeichel has been absolutely slammed by a Danish pundit who's calling for him to be dropped from the national team, and Chris Sutton has fired a warning at the Celtic board after a stunning Champions League result. Plus, there's a major twist in Luis Palma's transfer situation, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Kasper Schmeichel is under serious pressure right now, and it's not just coming from Scotland anymore. A Danish pundit has absolutely torn into him, calling for him to be dropped from the national team. Schmeichel arrived at Parkhead with a strong reputation. His career speaks for itself, but this season has not been comfortable whatsoever. Celtic have conceded goals at awkward moments. Some have come from open play when the defensive line has been stretched. Others have raised questions about positioning and reactions. Denmark are heading into key fixtures, and the goalkeeping spot is under the microscope. Mads Hermansen is now first choice at West Ham and playing regularly in the Premier League. That matters when international managers are weighing up decisions. Yannick Lieber didn't hide his view when asked about the situation. He told the Daily Record, "I can already see the headlines, but yes, I think it's time for Kasper Schmeichel to be dropped from the Danish team. It's a very vulnerable position to change, and Kasper Schmeichel has been a legend and a driving force on this national team for many years and has been at a level that can be described as world-class. But it's time to change, and it may have been for a while. Mads Hermansen is playing now and has become the first-choice goalkeeper at West Ham, and unfortunately, what we see from Kasper Schmeichel is not good enough anymore. I have enormous respect for him, but when I look at the goals Celtic are conceding this season, I'm not comfortable as a national team supporter. For Celtic, it's just one more thing hanging over a busy run of games. The backline in front of Schmeichel hasn't been settled, and suspensions have forced changes. Even so, keepers live and die by moments. One big stop can lift everyone. One error sticks in the mind. Brian Riemer has a decision to make. Does he trust the man who's done it for years, or does he go with the one playing every week? As for Schmeichel, the only reply he can give is on the pitch. Make the saves. Quiet the noise. Now for the main story, as Paul Slane has claimed he believes Celtic want Motherwell boss Jens Bertel Askew, adding more fuel to the talk around a possible summer move. Slane, who remains close with a number of current and former Celtic players, says he's heard Askew is the man the club are looking at. The timing is not random. Motherwell have been one of the strongest sides in the league in recent months. They keep the ball well and press with purpose. Their shape stays compact and they don't panic when building from the back. That has caught attention. Celtic, meanwhile, are at a point where direction matters. Recruitment has been questioned. The structure above the manager has been debated. Any coach walking into that needs clarity on how the squad will be shaped and who drives those decisions. Askew's style would suit the way many supporters want Celtic to play. Front foot football, brave passing, wingers high and wide. But wanting a manager and getting him are different things. Slane told Open Goal, "I think Celtic want him, I know that. I have heard that's their man, but whether there are other options there for the guy, you don't know. What's going on at Celtic with the recruitment and that side of things, will that put him off? I don't know. But if I were Celtic, I would go and get him right now." Slane's point about recruitment is on the money. Any manager will ask how transfers are handled and whether there's alignment between boardroom and dugout. Recent seasons have seen shifts in approach. For Askew, the attraction is obvious. A bigger budget and European football. For Celtic, the appeal is just as clear. A coach with a certain way of playing who has improved his current squad. Whether it moves beyond talk remains to be seen. For now, the noise is growing. In other news, Chris Sutton has taken a swipe at Celtic's hierarchy after Bodo/Glimt reached the last 16 of the Champions League with a 5-2 aggregate win over Inter Milan. The Norwegian side did not stumble through the tie. They pressed well, stayed compact without the ball, and were brave enough to play when space opened up. Over 2 legs, they looked organised and confident against one of Europe's biggest names. For Celtic supporters, that raises uncomfortable questions. The club have often spoken about the financial gulf between Scotland and the top 5 leagues. Yet Bodo/Glimt operate on a far smaller budget and have still managed to compete deep into the tournament. Sutton has been vocal in the past about Celtic's European struggles. Watching Bodo/Glimt knock out Inter only sharpened his view. He tweeted, "Bodo Glimt put to bed the myth that you have to spend an absolute fortune to be successful and compete at the highest level. Well played, Bodo. What a success story. Other clubs take note." Sutton's point really comes back to how a club is built. Bodo/Glimt have not chased big transfer fees. They have signed players who fit their style and coached them into it. When they press, they move together. The midfield stays close. The defence does not panic when it's put under strain. Celtic have spent money over the past few years, but the direction hasn't always stayed the same, leading to Brendan Rodgers' eventual resignation. Players come in for one role, then find the job description has changed. In Europe, that kind of reset catches you out. This is not just about budget size, it's about having a clear plan and sticking to it. Bodo/Glimt look comfortable in what they are. Celtic, too often in Europe, have looked like they're still trying to figure that out. Lastly, Luis Palma's situation has taken another turn after reports in Poland claimed Lech Poznan might look to cash in on the Celtic winger before the club quickly moved to dismiss the idea. Palma arrived on loan last summer with what's believed to be a €4 million option to buy. He started well, there were goals, a few assists, and he looked dangerous coming in off the left side. Since November, though, the output has dried up significantly, and he hasn't had the same influence on games. That context makes the latest claim stand out. Journalist Adam Slawinski suggested Lech would trigger the clause not because they see Palma as part of their long-term plans, but because they think they could sell him on straight away for a profit. He said on Canal Sportowi, "The club is looking at the market to see who would like to buy the Honduran international. They want to ensure that the 26-year-old participates in the key stages of the European Cup qualifiers. They would be willing to buy Palma for €4 million and then sell him for €6 million or €7 million. However, the scenario in which Lech buys Palma and he simply stays with the team is not being considered. It's a system of interconnected vessels. If the Honduran player is bought out, there will be another move towards selling him." Lech Poznan spokesman Adrian Galuska hit back on X. None of these statements are true. So, what does it actually mean for Celtic? In truth, not much has changed yet. Palma is still a Celtic player and Lech still have the option to buy. What happens next will likely come down to how he finishes the season and what Celtic decide they want to do in the summer. There is already competition in the wide areas at Parkhead, and more changes are expected when the window opens. If Palma returns, he would have to fight for minutes again. That is not impossible, but it's far from straightforward. From Lech's side, the €4 million clause gives them the power to make the first move. If they rate him and think he fits their plans, they can act. If not, he comes back to Glasgow and the decision shifts to Celtic. What seems clear for now is that the idea of buying him just to sell him on has been pushed back strongly. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.